Hi guys, it's Larilyn. Welcome to the channel today. I will be demonstrating how I do an embroidered design on a pair of jeans. So I will be using the Brother PRS100. This is a beautiful machine. It has commercial capabilities with the free arm that you see here. And of course, you still have to change your threads individually. I usually just do the tie together method, which makes it pretty quick. But here's the picture of my embroidered design I have preloaded here, and you will need additional software, to do that, to convert it from the file to your embroidery machine. I actually use Embroidery software for mine. So basically, this design is going to be a height of about 6.93 inches by 4.87 inches. And you can see here all of the different colors that I have preloaded. If I wanted to change the design in terms of the size, I could do that. But at this point, I'm just going to set it based on the dimensions, what I've chosen here. And I'm going to just hit embroidery. Okay, so this is going to set it for the mode to begin. So this is going to be quite a large stitch out. I'm looking at 48,890 stitches. And on this machine, I'm looking at about 78 minutes. So that's a good hour and 18 minutes, of time. So I'm probably going to have to figure out what else I'll be doing in the meantime. But the great thing about this machine, you can actually walk away from it and not worry like some of the flatbed machines of the material getting tangled or caught or broken stitches. I have very few issues with this machine. Okay. So what will you need for this project? Well, of course, you need your favorite pair of jeans that's already pre-hemmed to the correct length that you want to wear. And you're going to need your embroidery frame. I'm using the Durkee Easy frames. These do not come with the machine. They were an additional purchase, but the beauty of these is you don't have to rehoop your design. So for example, if I'm going to start my design in, let's say, this area here, and I want to move it and just move it down. With this machine, you have the ability to do that without losing the placement of your stitches. The machine is going to remember where you started. Unlike some of the other embroidery machines, once you move it, you've lost placement and you just have to figure out where else you want to start. Okay, you'll also need some of your backing paper or stabilizer, and I'm actually using the sticky stabilizer here. It's a tearaway style. And the beauty of this is that you basically just tear it to the dimension that you want to use, and you just place it behind your Durkee Easy frame, peel away the backing layer, and you just kind of attach that portion to here and the other portion to here. Okay. I also use the 505 spray, which is a temporary adhesive, to actually hold the pair of jeans onto this frame. So I'm going to spray just a little bit of my 505 in this area where I'll be placing my jeans. Okay, so that's a peek inside of where I have the frame that's going to attach to the actual machine. You can see inside of the jean. And on the front part, you can see this is the outline of the embroidery area. So from here to approximately there to here to here. This frame is about an 8x8. Again, my design is about 6.93 in height of inches by about 4 3/4 across. So I've got a pretty decent size flower embroidery I'm going to do in this area. Okay guys, so here's a tip of what I do for placement before I start embroidery. I like to print out the actual design. It will give you the dimensions of the actual size of what your embroidery stitch out will be. And on the back, you'll have all of your thread change colors as well. So you'll have all of those thread colors pre-pulled and placed on your embroidery machine, or at least out, so that you'll be able to change them out if you have to change them one by one. So if you pay attention to where you see this plus sign here in the middle, you want to place it where your center is going to be. I like to take a pen and just go into the center of it, and I just mark underneath the paper, and that's my center. And this embroidery machine actually has a laser that I'll be able to direct to the center portion of the embroidery stitch out. typically it will go to center for you, but if you need to move it down, move it up, left or right, that would be your starting point. Okay, so now I'm going to hoop the frame. There are two black knobs behind the Durkee Easy Frame holder piece here. You just kind of loosen those up, and it's counterclockwise to loosen. Once everything is in place, you're going to screw it clockwise, probably a couple turns past what you think is tight. Should be sufficient there. And once that's in place, you just want to make sure all of the pieces of your fabric is completely out of the way of the embroidery area. And again, the great thing about this little machine, even though it's not a true commercial machine, it has the commercial capabilities to it because you're able to maneuver your fabric around this free arm. Otherwise, it'd be very difficult to embroider something like a shirt. Sometimes it's difficult for like those little baby onesies or t-shirts or things, especially pant legs, because you have, of course, the front and the back. It's the free arm that you can place the product, over so that this bottom portion hangs underneath so that you won't be stitching through both layers. Okay, so you just want to make sure, again, everything is center. So if you look closely here, I'll get my laser pointer. You can see that little red mark here. My center is here where I pre-marked. So I'm going to go to the area to move this down just a little bit more. Going to size it, and then I'll move it down. Okay, so to be able to move this image down, I'm going to go to the screen with my pointer, and I'm just going to go to that plus sign. If you see my laser here, my laser is actually moving the image closer to that little dot. And that's all I have to do. Just keep my finger on the laser until I get to that point. And it's actually right on the area where I want it to be, the area that was pre-marked right here, right there. Okay, so now we're ready to begin our stitch out. One thing I love about the Brother PRS100, there's a feature for you to be able to trace the design to make sure it's going to fit inside of your frame. And that's that feature button right here. And you can actually see it's tracing out the design. And if you don't like the placement, if you need to move it to the right or to the left, you're actually able to do that. Okay guys, so these are all of my colors that I have laid out here for the thread changes. Some of them are pretty close in color, but I really like the mix of the neutrals, which are little pops of the amber reds, the lavenders, and the multiple beiges and grays that are kind of mixed within this palette as well. Okay, so I have the machine pre-threaded with the 4 colors I'm going to start with. There is another video or two on my channel that shows you specifically how to go through the threading process of this machine, as well as how to connect those threads together to pull them through quickly when you're doing your thread changes. So once you've gotten to this point, you want to go back to your screen and you're going to hit the unlock feature to start the embroidery process. I've already gone through to check the dimensions of the frame to make sure that this embroidery design will fit within this 8x8 inch frame, and everything's fine. My center placement is here. So now I'm just going to hit start. It's flashing green, so it's okay to begin. Beginning of our stitch out. Nice even stitches. color that you choose, and of course the quality of the original design. It's important for you to get the look that you want. Okay, so that first color with the stitch out of that silver gray color is completed. So I have two beautiful leaves that you see here, perfectly formed stitches. The next thing, if you look at the screen, it's switched to the color pewter. So I want to go through and do this thread change for the next color to pull that through and continue my stitch out of this design. Okay, so moving on to another thread change, I'm going to hit this unlock feature here and hit the go button. We should be stitching out where this plus sign is. You see on the screen this beautiful blue flower here. So I've changed that to the blue peacock color that you see in the back. Here we go. Okay, so I'm on to another color change. I've switched to the white in the series of several. We're going to hit the unlock feature, green button's flashing. We're going to press that, and that'll begin the next stitch out. And this time it's going to be this beautiful white flower that you see. make sure that jean doesn't fall into this area. Rows that you're seeing on the screen here. So you're doing not the tack down stitches or the knockdown stitches, you're just going to applique. Your fabric will be underneath the design and you're stitching out the faces. And I do have another video on the channel showing applique. Down to the last 4 threads. I have the last 4 colors preloaded here. You see those on the screen. And we're just stitching out the cream color that you see around this row. So this is more of a satin stitch that you typically see on the outer borders of your embroidery that really helps the embroidery design to stand out, to give it more definition. So here I think we're doing the stitch out of the last flower that you see here on the screen. So it's quite a bit of that beige ivory detail to complete it. Loving the neutral colors with the tops of the lavender and the salmon pinks, the amber reds and the peacock blues, and that's more at the top portion of the design, and it kind of evens it out with the nice neutral ivories, creams, and browns throughout it. So it's really going to give a nice pizzazz to your favorite pair of jeans. Bobbin thread at this point. Midway, I usually check bobbin just to make sure it's going to complete the design so you don't have to remove your project and start over. Even though this machine is great for placement, and the laser pointer lets you know, and the little cross on the design lets you know exactly where you're going to go back to. It saves the number of stitches and placement. I always just make sure there's enough bobbin thread. And of course, you want to make sure there's enough upper thread as well to complete the project. So far, the stitches are nice and even. Look at that beautiful rose in the back. Everything is coming and going along as planned. Just giving it a little bit more definition or detail. Okay, so here's an updated look of what the design looks like thus far. What's left are 2 stitch outs. We have the white. This is the border of the white flower here. Again, I think that's called the peony. And then the dark brown is probably these areas here that kind of go in to these areas there to kind of just accentuate the petals. Okay, so I'm going to hit unlock feature, the green button, and we'll start that stitch out with the white. Okay, so the embroidery stitch out is completed. I'll let you see what that looks like up close. If you're wondering what's all that plastic stuff, that's the water soluble stabilizer, and that really helps to secure stitches into certain materials like t-shirts, you know, I think jeans, it works wonders, and perhaps some other material too, but that's typically what I use it for. I take a little bit of water, it doesn't have to be bottled water, and you just want to dab it around the plastic. And what's going to happen is it's going to dissolve this plastic, so you can just basically pull it off. So that's really all you're doing. You can just kind of pull it away anyway, but I like to go ahead and just wet the surface around the stitches because you don't want to do all of this work for an hour and 18 minutes and then, you know, have it be all for nothing because you've ruined the design. So I will go ahead and clean that up on camera, off camera, and let you see what that looks like in a minute. But isn't that beautiful? So I think a 5x7, it's appropriate. You know, I probably could have chosen a larger design. I'd have to go up, of course, an embroidery hoop, or you can also just re-hoop your design and carry it further down the leg if that's what you choose to do. But I think I'm comfortable with this because I'm going to pair it with a cute little jacket, and I think that'll be really cute. And there it is, the finished embroidery design. Beautiful roses and peonies. Isn't it lovely?